For decades, Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell have been more than Hollywood royalty, they've been the definition of lasting love in an industry built on breakups. With her radiant smile, golden hair, and irresistible charm, Goldie wasn't just another actress on the silver screen, she became an icon, a symbol of joy and timeless beauty. But behind the laughter and glitter of fame, a heartbreaking twist has shaken the very foundation of her family and left her husband in tears. From her early days on Laugh-In to winning an Academy Award and lighting up Hollywood with countless unforgettable roles, Goldie Hawn's career has always been built on joy, charm, and star power. But her story goes far beyond the big screen. Behind the spotlight, her life has been a whirlwind of romance, resilience, and a love story with Kurt Russell that has stood the test of time. Now, however, tragedy has cast a shadow over the laughter. Devastating news has shaken her family to its core, and her husband's tearful reaction reveals the depth of their unbreakable bond. Today, we look back on Goldie's remarkable journey, from her humble beginnings in Washington, D.C., where her mother ran a jewelry shop and dance school and her father led music with passion, to the legendary life she built through talent, heart, and determination. Goldie Hawn's story begins with deep family roots that stretch back to both German and English heritage. On her father's side, she carried the legacy of Edward Rutledge, the youngest man to sign the Declaration of Independence. She was named after her mother's beloved aunt, and grew up alongside her sister, Patty Hawn, who would later carve out her own path as a Hollywood publicist. Yet behind their family's joy was a quiet tragedy, a brother, Edward Jr., who had passed away before Patty was even born. Goldie and her sister only learned about him years later. Her upbringing was shaped by two powerful traditions, her father's Presbyterian faith and her mother's Jewish heritage, passed down from Hungarian immigrants. Raised in the Jewish faith, Goldie grew up in Tacoma Park, Maryland, where her early years were filled with ambition and artistry. At just 3 years old, she was already learning ballet and tap, and by 1955, she was dazzling audiences in the Nutcracker. Her passion only grew stronger. In 1964, she stepped into the spotlight as Juliet at the Virginia Shakespeare Festival, while also running her very own ballet school. Though she studied drama at American University, she knew her destiny was not in the classroom but on the stage. Soon, she made her professional debut in a can-can production at the New York World's Fair, a small beginning that marked the first step toward a legendary career. By 1965, she was performing professionally in New York City and New Jersey. Her passion for performance quickly led her to acting, resulting in greater opportunities. A breakthrough occurred in the 1960s. In 1966, Goldie relocated to California to perform at Melody Land Theater, situated across from Disneyland. She participated in productions such as Pal Joey and How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. Her initial acting opportunity arose with the sitcom Good Morning World in 1967, where she portrayed the girlfriend of a radio DJ. This character was depicted as a stereotypical dumb blonde, a style that continued into her next significant role. In 1968, she became part of Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. This comedy show catapulted her to fame, making her a household name. She was well known for her high-pitched laughter, vibrant personality, and her appearances in painted or bikini outfits. Audiences recognized her as one of the iconic girls of the late 1960s. Goldie's success on Laugh-In soon paved the way for her film career. She had her first minor role in the film The One and Only Genuine Original Family Band in 1968. However, her real breakthrough came the following year. In 1969, she starred in Cactus Flower as Walter Matthau's fiancée, a performance that earned her the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. That same year, she featured in The Spring Thing, a television special alongside Bobby Gentry and Niall Harrison. Shortly after, she starred in There's a Girl in My Soup and Butterflies Are Free. In just a few years, Goldie transitioned from dancer to Oscar-winning actress. Her cheerful charm established her as a star. Yet, the following decade would reveal that she had even more to contribute to her stardom in the 1970s and 1980s. Goldie's career soared after her Oscar victory. She starred in popular comedies like There's a Girl in My Soup, dollar, and butterflies are free. Additionally, she demonstrated her ability to tackle dramatic roles, appearing in The Girl from Petrovka and Steven Spielberg's The Sugarland Express. She later joined the cast of Shampoo in 1975. The 1970s marked a turning point for Goldie Hawn as she learned to balance the demands of Hollywood with her growing family. For a time, she stepped away from the spotlight to focus on her marriage and the birth of her son. But when she returned in 1978, she did so in spectacular fashion. The Goldie Hawn special, featuring legends like George Burns, Sean Cassidy, and John Ritter, became a television sensation and earned an Emmy nomination, reminding the world that Goldie's charm was as radiant as ever. That same year, she lit up the big screen in Foul Play alongside Chevy Chase. The film became a runaway box office hit, propelling Goldie back to the top of Hollywood's A-list. And as if acting wasn't enough, she even tested her talents in music, releasing a country album in 1972 with support from icons Dolly Parton and Buck Owens. The 1980s cemented her reputation as one of comedy's brightest stars. In 1980, she not only headlined but also co-produced Private Benjamin. Screenwriter Nancy Meyers recalled Goldie's first reaction to the script: "She laughed, then grew so emotional that tears filled her eyes. That passion paid off. Her performance earned her a second Academy Award nomination, this time for Best Actress." From there, her career soared with a string of hits, including Seems Like Old Times, Best Friends, Protocol, Swing Shift, and Wildcats. Each role showcased her rare ability to blend sharp comedy with heartfelt emotion, solidifying Goldie as one of Hollywood's most versatile and enduring talents. By the mid-1980s, Goldie Hawn was everywhere, even gracing the cover of Playboy in 1985. Just 2 years later, she charmed audiences once again in Overboard alongside her real-life partner Kurt Russell. The film not only cemented their on-screen chemistry but also solidified Goldie's place as one of Hollywood's most beloved and versatile stars. The 1990s brought both triumph and challenge. She kicked off the decade with Bird on a Wire opposite Mel Gibson. While critics were split, audiences showed up in droves, making it a box office success. Roles followed in Deceived, Crisscross, and the cult favorite dark comedy Death Becomes Her, where she held her own against Meryl Streep and Bruce Willis. She then teamed up with Steve Martin in House Sitter, another crowd-pleasing hit that showcased her comedic brilliance. But just as her career seemed unstoppable, Goldie made a deeply personal choice. In 1992, she stepped away from acting to care for her ailing mother. It was a hiatus that lasted 4 years and ended with heartbreaking loss when her mother passed in 1994. When Goldie returned, she did so with renewed purpose. She produced Something to Talk About and made her directorial debut with Hope in 1997. But it was 1990's success The First Wives Club, co-starring Diane Keaton and Bette Midler, that reminded audiences of her star power. The film became a cultural phenomenon, with their unforgettable rendition of You Don't Own Me becoming an anthem for a generation. Soon after, she reunited with Steve Martin for The Out-of-Towners, proving once again that her comedic magic never fades. She and her First Wives Club co-stars were honored with the Women in Film Crystal Awards in 1997. By 1999, she was named the Lady of the Year by Harvard's Hasty Pudding. However, not all projects were successful. Despite having a stellar cast, Town and Country in 2001 was a tremendous disaster. She made a triumphant return in 2002 with Jeffrey Rush and Susan Sarandon in The Banger Sisters. Goldie left the film industry for about 10 years after that. A Lotus Grows in the Mud, her autobiography, was written in 2005. She then made a comeback to television in 2013 when she appeared as a guest on Phineas and Ferb. She made a triumphant return to the big screen in 2017 with Amy Schumer. Additionally, she pleased fans in 2018 as Mrs. Claus from The Christmas Chronicles, making a second appearance in the 2020 follow-up. Goldie's career has spanned decades, demonstrating her ability to excel at every stage of life. What is her personal life like, though, despite everything? Well, Goldie Hawn had romances that revealed a bit about her youthful heart before she became well known. First marriage and early love. Before her life was altered by fame, she dated musician Spiro Venduris and actor Mark Goddard in her early years. Goldie married dancer Gus Trionis, who had portrayed a Shark Gang member in West Side Story, in 1969. Although they were married on May 16, their union was short-lived. It was April 1973 when the pair split up. Goldie did not immediately file for divorce even after they split up. Rather, she started dating Italian actor Franco Nero, Swedish actor Bruno, and stuntman Ted Grossman. Life appeared to be hectic. Her legal connections to Trawan persisted, nevertheless. Ultimately, Goldie filed for divorce on New Year's Eve in 1975. She had met guitarist Bill Hudson of the Hudson Brothers the summer before, and they were already engaged. They fell in love on a first-class flight from New York to Los Angeles, and their bond was so powerful that it helped her start a new chapter in her life. Goldie married Hudson in her hometown of Tacoma Park, Maryland, a few weeks after the divorce from Trianon was finalized in June 1976. However, difficulties would soon accompany what appeared to be a new beginning. Bill Hudson's family life. With optimism at the outset of their marriage, Goldie and Bill Hudson soon began a family. On September 7, 1976, Oliver, their first child, was born. Kate, their daughter, arrived on April 19, 1979, 3 years later. Goldie appeared to be juggling a busy career and 2 kids, but the marriage itself was suffering. By the 15th of August, 1980, Hudson had filed for divorce. Despite having given Goldie 2 of the most significant individuals in her life, the couple's romance was coming to an end. Goldie pursued new relationships after the split. She was connected to Moroccan entrepreneur Victor Dry and French actor Yves Renier. The dissolution of her marriage to Hudson, however, had a profound impact. In March 1982, their divorce was formalized. The children they had together served as a bridge to Goldie's future even if their relationship ended, particularly when life soon brought a new person into her life. Kurt Russell was that someone. However, the origins of their story go back many years. A startling first date with Kurt Russell. On the set of Disney's The One and Only Genuine Original Family Band, Goldie and Kurt Russell had first connected in 1966. Kurt was only 16 at the time, and Goldie was 21. Goldie had vivid memories of the meeting years later. "I was 21 and he was 16 and I thought he was adorable, but he was much too young," she stated in 2012. For years after they parted ways, they both vowed never to date another actor. But people are often surprised by destiny. Kurt's audition for Swing Shift in 1983 brought the two together once more. Kurt took a chance even though he was really hungover because Goldie was there to read with him. His initial remarks to her were direct. "You have a fantastic figure, man." Instead of taking offense, Goldie said, "Why, thank you." Their first date quickly followed after that line broke the ice. At the Playboy Club in Los Angeles, the evening began with swing dancing, but it soon became a memorable event. The two went to a house Goldie was remodeling, got inside, and were apprehended by the police for breaking and entering. "We eventually found our way upstairs and we are realistically having sex." Kurt remembered the police entering the room. They concluded the night in a hotel room after leaving laughing. Years later, Kurt summarized it. "Our first date was that one. I'll tell you what, it was a lot of fun." Their narrative of creating a life and a family together started on that crazy night. Goldie and Kurt became closer after their first date. Their on-screen connection was matched in real life when they co-starred in Swing Shift in 1984. Goldie subsequently stated that she could see his sincerity and realized he wasn't a womanizer. The way he treated her kids, Oliver and Kate, was what moved her the most. The blended family expanded to include Gold's children, Kurt's son, Boston from his previous marriage, and now their son together. "What really got me was when I watched my kids when they'd come to the set and how he was with them," she recalled. "He was amazing with them. He was such a natural." Their relationship grew more serious, and on July 10, 1986, they welcomed their son, Wyatt. "It was so fabulous how we started, looking at what we did together," Goldie remarked of the couple's rewatch of the 1987 romantic comedy Overboard, in which their real-life connection was clearly evident. In public, they even shared some amusing moments during the 1989 Academy Awards. They made jokes about getting married while presenting together. Their relationship only became stronger over the years. Goldie referred to them as companions and a couple, to which Kurt teased, "There's only one thing, we're not married." Goldie smiled and said, "Is that a proposal?" The audience roared, but Kurt responded, "We'll talk about that later tonight." In 1996, Kurt joined Goldie to celebrate yet another career milestone at the First Wives Club premiere. Their family grew once more in 2004, this time with grandchildren rather than another child. Ryder, Kate's son, was born when she was 24 years old. "I would love to be a grandmother. I'm not pushing the matter, but it would be so much fun." Goldie's wish was fulfilled, and she treasured the opportunity to spend time with Kurt while enjoying her children and grandchildren. Their humorous, familial, and devoted love tale turned become one of Hollywood's most appreciated collaborations. Public love and moments on the red carpet. Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn visited Italy in May 2006 to attend the premiere of Russell's film Poseidon. The pair appeared content and intimate on the red carpet, with Russell even kissing Goldie in front of the cameras. It was one of many occasions when their love was evident. 10 years later, in November 2016, Goldie had a lavish 71st birthday celebration. The party was held at Catch LA in Hollywood, and she showed up grinning, with Russell at her side and a big gift in hand. The gift he gave at home, however, was the most heartfelt. Russell built a new fireplace, and their daughter Kate posted a picture of it online to tell the story. "With 4 tiny hearts standing in for us children," she wrote, "My pa laid the stone for the fireplace in their new home, and if you look closely, he put a big heart representing Mama, and I'm going to say him, too." His affection for Goldie and the family they created together was demonstrated by this kind act. And shortly, at another noteworthy occasion, the world will witness even more of their closeness. Goldie, who portrayed Chris Pratt's father in Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2, attended the film's Hollywood premiere with Russell in April 2017. The pair received one of the greatest accolades of their lives a few weeks later, and she told reporters, "I'm always proud of him, and I'm proud of him with this film, but I haven't seen the movie yet." Goldie and Kurt were both awarded stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on May 4, 2017. The ceremony became far more emotional than anticipated. "I didn't anticipate Goldie to say those things, but he did say, it turned out to be a love fest." He concluded by saying, "I'll always cherish you. I owe my wonderful life to you," Russell said, looking at Goldie throughout his address. "In a nutshell, Goldie, I cherish you. No amount of stars in the sky or on the boulevard can compare to that. Goldie Hawn is the only person I would rather be with for all of that." Their kiss beside their nearby stars turned into a picture-perfect moment, and days later, Goldie shared the secret to their decades-long relationship: love, gratitude, and compassion. Because sometimes, every man or woman will make their partner crazy. Her words were straightforward but impactful: family, fun, laughs, sex. If you don't nurture that and remember, you're done. Goldie and Kurt returned to the big screen together in 2018 to play Mr. and Mrs. Claus in the Netflix hit series The Christmas Chronicles, but they also continue to focus on family and love. Russell explained why they waited so long to collaborate again, saying, "I thought we'd work together much sooner than this, but Goldie and I are pretty choosy." Goldie's role was small but memorable, and their son Oliver even joined the project. 2 years later, in November 2020, the sequel gave Goldie a much bigger role as Mrs. Claus. Their family life continued to grow around this time. And generally speaking, Goldie Hawn movies and Kurt Russell movies are pretty different things. It's not mandatory just because you live with someone, you love someone, and you enjoy working together that you should do 10 or 15 movies together. Goldie stated, "You've just got to want to be together," and by December 2020, they were talking openly about their love in People magazine after welcoming another granddaughter on October 2, 2018. When questioned why they never got married, she said, "It's not about the marriage. I don't think there's any way other than do it." Their decision demonstrated that commitment was more important to them than titles. It's about the people in the relationship and the will to stay together. And that's a big one, because if you want it, you can have it. You have to give things up, but the joy and excitement of being together and touching someone's toes at night is really a nice feeling. Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn discussed their decision to stay single in an interview with Variety in March 2023, recalling, "We constantly got asked, 'When are you going to get married? Why aren't you married?'" He clarified that back in the 1980s, those questions never stopped, but neither of them cared. "We had inquired with our children about their interest in it. They didn't." "No, we didn't," he said. Goldie shared this sentiment, telling interviewers that if she had been married, she would have been divorced for a long time. Choosing to stay together was more important to them than paperwork. In 2023, they commemorated 40 years of marriage, a unique achievement in Hollywood. By that time, they had residences in Manhattan, Santa Ynez Valley, Brentwood, Palm Desert, and even in Vancouver and Colorado. Nevertheless, despite their prosperity and ease, they had one thing in common. Their relationship was never based on marriage. Goldie gave an explanation of the reason in an interview with CNN's Chris Wallace in July 2023. She acknowledged that she and Russell had witnessed the agony of divorce. She remarked, "It's always ugly, someone has to look at it and say, how many divorces actually are fun? How many divorces actually don't cost money? How many divorces actually make you hate the person more than you did before? How many divorces have hurt children?" They stated to Wallace that she liked having the flexibility to choose whether or not to continue the connection each day when she woke up. "I like the idea that I can wake up in the morning and make decisions every day if I want to be here," she stated. Independence was vital to Goldie. She clarified that maintaining one's independence through independent thought is crucial. They continued to believe that marriage was not required even after 40 years had passed. However, if they managed to sidestep one obstacle, life would quickly provide another. A fear-driven move that rocked them to their foundations. Goldie explained to Kelly Riapa on Let's Talk Off in June 2024 why she and Kurt Russell had moved to Palm Desert to live full-time. It was about safety, not just about lifestyle. They had experienced 2 terrible house robberies, she revealed. The first occurred sometime in 2020 after she and Kurt went to a movie and dinner. When she got home, she went upstairs and discovered devastation in her closet. "I walked into my closet and I just lost it," she stated. Her safe door had been busted down by thieves who had entered through the balcony. Goldie acknowledged that she had assumed it would just happen once. She was wrong, unfortunately. While Kurt was away, a second robbery occurred months later. When Goldie first heard a big thump upstairs, she was unsure of what it was. She learned the terrible truth later. "While I was in the house, we found out that they were attempting to enter my bedroom." She claimed to have been shocked by the encounter. The reason this was so traumatizing was later elucidated by experts. Multiple home invasions that happen quickly after one another can seriously impair a person's basic sense of security and independence, according to neuropsychologist Dr. Sam Haffey, who spoke to Nikki Swift about this. The idea that a house should be a sanctuary of safety was destroyed for Goldie. It wasn't merely a decision to move to Palm Desert. It was a means of restoring harmony. There, in the company of their loved ones, they started to move past their loss. Holding on and healing. Although Goldie subsequently acknowledged that they had purchased the Palm Desert house years prior, it became their haven following the break-ins. The proximity to family was an even more valuable asset that the neighborhood provided. The fact that some of their kids lived close by provided them with security and comfort. Dr. Hai clarified the significance of this. She claimed that having family nearby provided them with both practical and emotional solace. The capacity to feel safe in unfamiliar situations while avoiding painful memories and spending time with relatives. She also emphasized that part of healing involved making decisions about where to live and how to protect yourself. People must reclaim their power by choosing their living arrangements, social networks, and defense mechanisms if they want to restore trust in their surroundings, she said. Goldie's recollections of those robberies will never entirely go away, but traveling restored her sense of control. The significant influence that repeated intrusions have on an individual's identity and sense of autonomy is something that many people are unaware of. Goldie's decision to put her mental and emotional health first, according to Haffey, demonstrated strength. However, Goldie and Kurt continued to demonstrate to the world the connection that had sustained them over decades, even as they found healing in Palm Desert. Goldie would soon reveal once more the reason Russell was the one and the key to enduring love. During her appearance on Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend in April 2024, Goldie shared the precise moment she realized Kurt was the one. It wasn't simply about attraction, she clarified, because he was attractive and sexy and all those things that turn you on. It was because he mirrored my unwavering devotion to children as the most important thing in the world. She claimed that Kurt shared her belief that family always comes first. Goldie was discussing their secret even more candidly by September 2024. She chuckled and stated in an interview with E! News that having good sex and occasionally being kind to each other kept their relationship strong. As she noted, this is something that connects you and creates more belonging. Healthy sexual relationships are not the only reason why people tend to live longer. It's because of the intimacy and warmth it fosters. Her candor demonstrated why their relationship seemed so strong. They always picked one another, even while they were going through difficult times. They returned to the limelight at the 97th Academy Awards in Los Angeles in March 2025. Kurt looked dapper in a black tuxedo, while Goldie attracted attention in a bright yellow Dolce & Gabbana gown. As they had done countless times before, they strolled side by side to the carpet. There had been sorrow, horror, and laughter in their love tale. However, they continued to be one of Hollywood's most admired couples for over 40 years. The latest health fight of Goldie Hawn. Goldie Hawn presented alongside actor Andrew Garfield at the 2025 Academy Awards. As always, she exuded glamour, but she soon gave the audience a surprise. On air, Goldie acknowledged that she was having trouble carrying out her responsibilities. After a few words, she turned to Andrew and requested assistance, even though she was supposed to read the lines from the teleprompter. The crowd was startled when she turned to face him and said, "Okay, sweetheart, can you read that?" "I can't read that. I'm completely blind. I mean, I have cataracts." Right there in the spotlight, Goldie had revealed a very real health battle: cataracts, which are common in elderly adults and cause the lens of the eye to become hazy, making vision unclear. Goldie chose not to hide this, instead allowing the world to see her sensitive side. Holding Gold's hands, Andrew Garfield used the opportunity to share a personal story, saying, "Goldie, can I tell you something really quickly?" He stepped in without hesitation, saying, "Okay, I've got you," and took over the lines, turning what could have been a stressful moment into something touching. "My mother's greatest source of comfort and happiness throughout her life was someone. And I feel incredibly fortunate to be able to express my sincere gratitude to that individual tonight. That person is Goldie Hawn." His remarks were sincere and moving, and it was evident to the audience that Goldie was moved by the homage. While some domestic viewers found the discussion odd, many others commended the moment's candor and warmth. One fan on social media wrote, "So humorous how jaded humans are. It became candy, gracious, and an unprecedented moment of actual in Hollywood. She became truly very touched, as any could be to hear that what they did mattered that a whole lot to his mom. He blessed her heart with that second of kindness." It was a reminder that even Hollywood legends face demanding situations, and once in a while the maximum powerful moments show up unscripted. Away from the degree, Goldie had her longtime accomplice Kurt Russell with the aid of her side. They had been together seeing that 1983, sharing lifestyles, elevating a circle of relatives, and constructing reminiscences. Goldie has frequently been asked why they by no means married, and she gave her answer in an interview remaining year when asked approximately tying the knot. She stated, "Why need we get married? Isn't that a higher question? We had been married, and because while it doesn't training session, it ends up to be huge commercial enterprise. Any individual has to personal something, it is always unpleasant. For her, commitment and love supposed more than a criminal name. Over the decades, Goldie and Kurt have blended their families, welcomed a son collectively, and grow to be proud grandparents to 7 kids. Their bond has grown stronger with time. In 2021, Goldie posted a birthday tribute to Kurt, writing, "No, we by no means got married, but one thing that continues to grow is our love. You're a wild one. Extraordinary, lovely, childlike, perfectly maddening, a father ideal, and deeply humorous. I cannot consider my existence without you at any age, Kurt Russell. You're the seas, and you are all mine." That submit confirmed how she sees him, no longer just as an associate, however, because the love of her lifestyles. What do you consider Goldie and Kurt's relationship? Do you agree with most effective love is sufficient to maintain a couple sturdy without marriage? Share your thoughts inside the remarks underneath. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible memories from Hollywood's charming history. See you subsequent time.